order and just double check that we do have a quorum at this point. I'll ask Thomas if you can take a quick roll.
Thank you. Commissioner Brunheiser, Commissioner DeBunda, Commissioner DeBunda, Commissioner Egloff, Commissioner Ellis,
Here.
Commissioner Jones. I don't think so. Commissioner Lark, Commissioner Rogers,
Here.
Commissioner Ruddy, Commissioner Sweeney,
Here.
Commissioner DeBunda. I see him.
Yeah, he just came in.
All right, Commissioner DeBunda is on the line. Commissioner Egloff. Commissioner Egloff. Commissioner Lark. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
All right, thanks, Tom. I'll just confirm that we did have our executive session this morning and that all of the Sunshine Act notices required for this meeting went out as needed. Let's start with our minutes from the August 30th regular commission meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look those over?
Move we approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Is there a second? Commissioner Sweeney? Any discussion from the August 30th minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We've also had a special meeting on September 13th to review our budget submission for the next fiscal year. Those minutes are also in your book. Has anybody got a motion to approve those?
Move approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Is there a second? Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. A little bit of a race there. Commissioner Rogers got the second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Ask Tracy Gottwald to come on up to the table. We'll start the discussion of the financial report. And you might want to just spell your name for the reporter.
Good morning, Deputy Secretary Cook and Commissioners. Starting out with the August financial statements. The State Racing Fund for the month ended August had a beginning cash balance of $12,541,000. Total dispersed, the Act 114 disbursement occurred in August, which totaled $4,030,000. Revenue was $1,983,000. Expenditures were $1,390,000, bringing the ending cash balance to $9,104,000. Racehorse Commission revenue and expenditures for the month of August. Total revenue was $1,203,000. Personnel was $420,000. Operating expenditures were $61,000, bringing the total expenditures for the month of August to $480,000. Racehorse testing revenue for the month of August was $780,000. Personnel expenditures were $360,000. Operating expenditures were $521,000, bringing the total expenditures for the month to $881,000. Racehorse promotion, there was no revenue in the month of August. The annual transfer was done in July. And the operating total expenditures were $19,075. Don't have it. Don't have the comparative. Tom, can I grab yours?
Tracy.
Thanks, sorry. Going back and forth from home. I must have left that one lay on my desk at home, so I apologize. Comparing August 22 to August 21, there was about a zero difference between the revenue. Is about as close as you can get. Expenditures, personnel was up 5% in 2022. Operating expenditures are down 67%. And that again is largely due to UPenn billings. Also, contracted services have gone down because some of the service agreements are being assumed by UPenn. And the real estate bill has not been paid yet because we're still in the process of finalizing that MOU. Overall, the total expenditures then are down 36% when considering personnel in with it. The remaining financial statements are then on the restricted accounts. Any questions?
No question, but it might be good to remind everyone that if you're looking at the fiscal year to date for the state racing fund with the beginning balance of $9,845,000, that the amount distributed does not represent 50% of that because of the fact that we're not distributing cash. We're distributing cash minus accrual basis.
Any other questions or comments on the financials?
Thank you.
Hearing none. Thank you, Tracy. All right, we'll turn it over to Tom to do the update on our 23-24 budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On September 13th, the commission had a special meeting solely to discuss the budget. It was attended in person and online by not only the commissioners, but by the public. At this meeting, Tracy presented the state fiscal year 23-24 proposed budget, a detailed line analysis she went through. She laid out first the commission, the budget request, the commission side, which for 23-24 is about $7.9 million, slightly about $358,000 more than the year before. Be advised that this budget is spending authority. It is not necessarily a budget. We do spending authority. The budget is generally significantly less. And on the testing, Tracy presented the 23-24 budget. It's slightly more than the year before, about $600,000. Once again, that's spending authority. There's been some changes that I'll get in the next line item, but overall, this went through with the commissioners on September 13th. Questions were answered. I think there were two minor changes. I think Commissioner DeBunda raised. They were rectified in the budget. It was open for comment. There were no further comments, and later today, Madam Chair, we will be moving for an approval and then sent to the governor's office in the beginning of October.
Go ahead into the line item modification.
The next item is dealing with 22-23, and it's the line item modification in the testing budget. The line item modification does not, I repeat, change what was approved in September of 2021. Total budget on testing was $13,540,000. That doesn't change. We had the UPenn agreement expired in April of 2022. A new agreement was done with the Commonwealth, which the commission participated in. There were certain items due to cost savings and expediency that was moved from the commission to UPenn and included in the contract. So while I said that there were 3 items or 4 items that are going to change in the 2022 budget. We approved $5.9 million in personnel expenses. That will be going down to 5.705. In the UPenn contract, it went from $4 million to 5.5 for 22-23. That's up It's offset by a decrease in contracted services from 460,000 down to 210. And the biggest change is in laboratory supplies, which this commission approved at 1,250,000. That'll drop down to 250. Those changes are offset by the increase in the UPenn. And we believe there's significant cost savings in doing this, and expediency and storage and so on. So I will be asking later in the administrative actions, Madam Chair, for the commission to approve that. So as we move forward, it makes sense when the commission reviews the budget every month.
Thanks, Tom. Are there any questions? Squeezing the balloon a little bit to let the university do the things they can do more easily. All right, let's move over to a HISA update.
The main thing I want to focus on with HISA now deals with formosicide and Lasix. As you remember, in last year, I believe it was April, this commission made a modification to the Lasix policy, which basically banned Lasix in 2-year-olds and in stake races. HISA is coming forward in 23 with the anti-doping medication, and their position is Lasix will be banned in all thoroughbred horses, but they did leave a window open to request an exemption. That we received paperwork, I believe it was September 20th from HISA, outlining what needed to be done. And I have 2 letters from the Horsemen's Group, one from the PTHA and one from the PAHBPA, requesting that the commission ask HISA for an exemption which would allow the use of formosicide or Lasix in all races that are not 2-year-olds, all races that are not stake races. So there's a laundry list of a resolution and other documents to be filled out based on what we've heard from the horsemen and the commission. We believe that this is a positive for right now. It's a 3-year window, and it'll allow a study to occur to see what the exact effects of Lasix are. So later in the program, under administrative action, I will be asking for a resolution, Madam Chair, that we send an exemption request to HISA that allows the use of formosicide/Lasix in all races that are not 2-year-old or stake races.
Any questions for Tom on that? Okay, Brian, the floor is yours if you want to come up and do your marketing report. If you could start by
Madam
spelling your
Chair,
names for the.
my name's Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Sanfratello, S-A-N-F-R-A-T-E-L-L-O. And I have Stu Kirschenbaum with me. He'll spell his last name.
I'll spell both. Stu's the easy part, S-T-U. Kirschenbaum is K-I-R-S-H-E-N-B-A-U-M.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, today the PHBA will talk about its marketing grant projection for this year. We basically have broken the marketing grant money into 3 categories. The first one is TVG, the Television Games Network, and which is now FanDuel, right? FanDuel TVG. And the Steve Bick radio show and the TDN Daily Today section. The first information that you have is on TDN. You have a TDN media kit. And I just want to go over just a few items on that. On page 1, TDN's the world's most read and respected publication covering the thoroughbred industry. The They have a downloadable daily newspaper. It's published 363 days per year. Yes.
Was under 16. I'm sorry, Brian, I didn't.
It's okay.
They'll be able to follow you a little better.
Okay. Okay, so it's a downloadable daily newspaper. It's published 363 days a year and provides daily information on the thoroughbred racehorse industry. Over on page 2, they also have a podcast channel, which includes the industry's most popular podcast, the TDN Writers Room. We also advertise on that podcast. That's not part of the marketing money, but just wanted to let you know that we do advertise on that podcast. Over on the next page, on page 3, this publication is read in 180 countries. They reach 3.5 million unique users and 22,000 super users in the thoroughbred industry who have signed up for the daily email informing them what's going on in the industry. Now, you can actually sign up for that. There's no cost for getting that daily each day. Over on page 4, you will see some of the next few pages, you'll see some testimonials from people who actually received information from TDN. Just like to note Bobby Flay, as most of you know, the celebrity chef. He's been active in Pennsylvania buying and breeding, notably with the horse Caravel, who he purchased about 2 years ago, and then with one of our breeders, and then he had sold that horse, and a few years before that, he had Dame Dorothy, which both of these are graded winners. So if we skip over to page 10, the last page of the media kit, you can see some annual metrics. Again, we had said the unique users were 3.5 million, average daily subscribers, 22,400, daily average downloads, 7,250, and average video streams daily, 11,230. How they access TDN, 22.4% through their desktop, 73.1% mobile, and 4.5% through their tablets. I also sent 3 pages showing you the page 2 of the TDN where we advertise. So we have this again 363 days a year, and you can see our ads at the bottom of those 3 pages. It's very economical for us because of the fact that we, throughout the year, we talk about many different areas. We congratulate horses who have won graded races and talk about basically what we want. All of these ads, when clicked on, go to landing pages to expound on various items that we want to talk about. So the first one you have there at the bottom says 1 million in purses. That was Pennsylvania Day at the races. When you clicked on that, you at that time you got to see all the races and other information on PA Day. The second page was our 2-year-old PA sired PA bred stallion series, which concluded on PA Derby Day with 2 $200,000 stakes in the series. And again, when you click on that, it explained to you what was involved in that, and also the 2023 series, which will which will be next year. And then the next page was Brody's Cause. I think I had mentioned this at the last meeting, that a new stallion, Brody's Cause, Giants Causeway, multiple grade 1 winner would be coming to Equistar, which is the farm that Smarty Jones is at. Rodney Eckenrode and his wife Sharon purchased the sire, and we think it's going to be a big boost to Pennsylvania. Any questions on the TDN? Okay, I'll turn it over to Stu, and he'll go over the Steve Bick Radio Show and the TVG.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Council. I'm Stu Kirschenbaum. Again, I'm the owner and the executive producer of Keystone Films. We're certainly pleased to report that the broadcast advertising and the media strategies that have been implemented by Keystone Films are working. Since 2016, we've been speaking to the thoroughbred industry to make breeders across North America aware of the opportunities available to them here in Pennsylvania, which continue to improve and which continue to evolve. When the PHBA announced a brand new initiative, the Pennsylvania Stallion Series, we produced a brand new 30-second commercial to spread the word directly to the industry. From April through August of this year, between TVG, which is now known as FanDuel TV, and TVG2, this commercial had more than 700 showings on national television. So, Nicole, if we play the 30-second commercial, please.
The PA Horse Breeders Association introduces the Pennsylvania Stallion Series. 4 brand new races to be run at parks for PA-sired, PA-bred 2-year-olds. There are 2 $100,000 contests on August 22nd. PA Day at the races. September 24th, PA Derby Day has 2 more races, each with a $200,000 purse. The PA Stallion Series. Yet another reason why Pennsylvania is the premier place to breed and race. For more, please visit pabred.com.
The importance of the relationship that we at Keystone Films have built with FanDuel TV really can't be overstated. We've been able, fortunately, to leverage this relationship to the benefit of the PA horse breeders. And as I'll explain further over the next couple of months, this relationship has also benefited the other stakeholders with whom we are fortunate to work, such as the Standardbred Breeders Association of PA and the Pennsylvania HBPA. Now, specifically, this relationship has resulted in many bonus airings of our commercials. For the PA horse breeders, we've also negotiated 15-second billboards, which lead in and out of commercial breaks as a value-added benefit to our ad buy. These video billboards have Pennsylvania racing footage provided by Keystone Films, along with a voiceover saying this hour of racing coverage is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Horse Breeders Association. That's followed by another sentence or two, a tagline, if you will. And it concludes with, for more, please go to pabred.com. So what we're doing is we've helped to ensure that our message resonates with the industry while also driving traffic to the PA Horse Breeders website. Another important component to our relationship with FanDuel TV is the ability to receive earned media. Now, several times a year, for instance, just before PA Day at the races, or on the day that Stallion Series was announced, or just this past Saturday on PA Derby Day, we've been able to arrange for Brian to be interviewed live on FanDuel TV. So clearly, FanDuel TV is a key part of the broadcast advertising strategy that we've put in place for the PA horse breeders. A few quick things to point out about them is that apart from the strength of their broadcast delivery, they're also making huge strides in their streaming platform, which is the way a younger demographic generally consumes video content nowadays. With their recent branding to FanDuel TV, there's also more content, of course, pertaining to sports gambling. That certainly attracts a younger audience. In the big picture, that's an exciting opportunity to attract or to introduce horse racing to those tuning in for sports wagering information. Their audience tends to be well-educated, above average household income. Their Saturday viewership on average runs about 45,000 people. Not a gigantic number, but for instance, that's about twice the number of people watching Fox Sports 2 on a given Saturday afternoon. Most importantly, the thoroughbred industry is watching. That is our audience. We want to reach people who have the knowledge, the interest, the financial wherewithal to potentially take part in the breeding program in Pennsylvania. Now, if you take most of what I've just said to you about FanDuel TV, and then you can then apply it to the At the Races show with Steve Bick on Sirius XM, it's 3 hours of live horse racing talk 5 days a week delivered to a worldwide audience. The show also repeats the next day. So if you tuned in today at 6 a.m., you would have heard a replay of Monday's show, followed by today's show from 9 a.m. till noon. As with FanDuel TV, our work with Steve and Sirius XM is all designed to put the PA Horse Breeders Association's branding and messaging in front of the eyes and ears of horsemen, the eyes and ears of industry leaders, decision makers, and certainly in front of the eyes and ears of racing's day-to-day customers, the horse players. I do want to play one more video for you if I can. It's something the PHBA board felt was very important to show the path that a horse travels from when it's foaled to when it goes to the sales ring, to when it wins its first race, to when it's retired, to also show why at every step along the way, there are so many benefits to that horse being a Pennsylvania bred. So if we could play that other video, please, Nicole.
Buddies? What do you see? Huh? Do you see the mama with her foal? Will that be you soon? That'll be you soon. Yes, it will.
You know, it's a long process. You know, the poor mare, she's got to be carrying that baby for 11 months.
Once the foal is here, it's a very happy occasion. It's just amazing to me that within minutes to an hour, they'll be up on their feet. And the next day, they're running around in the field like, they've done this before.
And then you go to the barn, just walking through the barn. It's just a fantastic sight. You see mom right next to the baby. She's looking over and taking care of it and watching over it as they grow and develop.
Oh, look at you. You got a beautiful blaze. Everybody will know you. Everybody will know you. Yeah.
To me, there's no greater thing than bringing that new baby into the world successfully. Having done this a long time, I know the challenges that face breeders frequently, and overcoming all of those to make that a reality and see this new life and get to follow it for years and years and years is amazing. I'm a superstar, huh?
Right now, they're just enjoying life. It's a beautiful paddock. And the foals are getting to explore a little bit and enjoy life as I look around. It's a really nice place to be.
These are 4 horses that have just been weaned. Okay. So these are our first weanlings of the season.
I typically wean between 4 to 6 months. I try to look for when they're emotionally ready.
The foals will get together and they'll develop relationships, on that end. And a lot of times the mares are saying, "Oh, thank God the foal's gone." It's just like a mother with a baby sometimes.
Everybody's got to grow up and leave the nest. They have little buddies, and we have a buddy system going on here, so they can adjust to being sort of alive on their own. No biting. No biting. The earlier they're handled, as soon as they're weaned, the more friendly they are in terms of being, behaving at a sale, which is huge. Now they're pretty much ready to face the world.
Yes.
Where's this $1 million horse you keep talking about?
Yeah, it's right out here.
The sales are kind of an equestrian's carnival, if that makes sense.
You're bringing a product to the market. The market is going to determine what the product is worth.
Registered Pennsylvania bred colt by the Triple Crown winning Justified.
And let's be honest, we're all hoping to find the next Smarty Jones.
It's a little bit like buying a lottery ticket, and we are trying to hit the jackpot.
$1,150,000, $1,150,000, and $1,150,000 down about to get down ahead of a deal. So through down to get down $1,150,000. Thank you for what you did. $1,150,000 and a half. $1,100,000. Woodrow, thank you.
Some breeders, they just breed to sell their horses. Some breeders, they just breed to race their horses.
we start to make decisions. Are we keeping them to go to the racetrack ourselves?
If everything's on schedule, you can usually get them racing by, if you're very lucky, the summer of their 2-year-old year.
She's one of our best films ever.
I say that every year.
But that's because they're getting better every year.
It doesn't really graduate until it goes to the racetrack and wins a race. And that is the best feeling in the world. Whether you own it or whether you've bred it, they're your children.
All right, Charlie. There's no feeling on earth like watching your horse go into the winner's circle. You don't even know how you get there. You're basically walking on air. And if you breed the horse, it's extra special.
It's surreal. Like for me, right after my horse wins, I go into kind of this euphoric state. Like, I can't believe that even happened. And I kind of stagger into the winner's circle and I'm like, yay.
It's in the moment of that race. There's nothing like being an owner of a horse and being at the track and watching your horse come in first and get into that winner's circle. Man, you all want to shout for joy. You want to share it with your family and friends. It is just amazing fun.
Well, PA Bred, I think we've built a brand at this point.
The state of Pennsylvania has the best breeders program in the entire United States.
The awards and bonuses, we have restricted races just for Pennsylvania breds. We have stakes races just for Pennsylvania breds. This year, our stakes total will be close to $4 million just in Pennsylvania bred stakes races.
Look at Florida Sombra.
Clearly, I mean, the incentive program for Pennsylvania breds is pretty extraordinary. Even folks in neighboring states, and not so many neighboring states, I mean, people in Texas, people in California, the Pennsylvania program has caught their eye.
Over here is, wait for it, it's one of about 600,000 plus, almost 650, 4-time stake winner. And we're so proud of him, and we love him dearly. Pennsylvania and the PHBA have the best state-bred program in the country, bar none. We've got big, big plans.
I think the support that Pennsylvania breeding program and Pennsylvania in general gives us, because they want to keep the open spaces. They care about the horses. There's aftercare programs for the horses.
We have two of the best aftercare organizations around, Attorney for Home at Parks and New Star at Penn National. We really think we've done a lot in Pennsylvania to take care of the horse, breeding, racing, and after.
It's the American Pharaoh.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's just awesome.
Beautiful, huh?
It's pretty.
How's your baby? How's your baby, sweetie? Come here. Come here, Mama. Come to Pennsylvania. It's a great place to breed and race. How's your baby? Huh? How's your smarty baby? Huh?
For more information about the Pennsylvania Breeding Program, please call Brian Sanfratello of the PA Horse Breeders Association at 610-444-1050.
One final thing to touch on here today is a digital strategy that we put in place in 2019 around the sales, particularly the May Timonium sale and the Keeneland September sale. We started doing something 7 to 10 days before these sales. We begin targeting people through what's called search and contextual targeting. We've constructed this 200-mile radius, which essentially covers every racetrack from Woodbine to Monmouth and everything in between. We also apply the same methodology to the Louisville and Lexington markets. We created a keyword list that has about 200 plus thoroughbred racing and breeding keywords. And the way this works is that if you go online and search for one of these 200 plus keywords, and or you read content online that has one of these words, you're then put into a queue to be served our PA Bred ads, if in fact you are a high net worth household within that market. If you click on the ad, you're then taken to a landing page, dedicated landing page, that has all the information about every PA Bred in that sale. We also do what's called geofencing at the sale itself. So if you enter the Timonium property or the Keeneland property, there are no filters. We assume your property there because you're interested in buying a horse. You are then put again in a queue to be served our PA Bred ad once you then visit any advertiser supported website. We've served hundreds of thousands of ads. We've had a click-through rate that's tremendous. Bottom line is we started this again at both Timonium and Keeneland in 2019, and since then, there's been really dramatic growth in the average PA bred sale price, as well as in the number of PA breds who sold for $75,000, as well as those who sold for over $150,000. We did certainly have a bit of a bump in the road in this past Keeneland sale, just ended a few days ago. But if you look at the thing in totality for both Timonium and Keeneland, the numbers are really quite impressive. So in the end, that is what Keystone Films is doing to help accomplish the goals of PA horse breeders, to help build their brand, enhance their image, and grow their bottom line by making their product, if you will, that horse bred in Pennsylvania, more attractive and more desirable. So thank you for all your time, and happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
So we want to get as many people excited about the Pennsylvania program as possible, which is why we put the video together that you just saw. We have another video that's approximately 1 minute. We're not going to show that today, but we're going to be showing that at racetracks. Because we want to get across to owners and trainers of horses, mares, when they're coming to the end of their career. Do they want to get involved in the breeding program? And do they want either by themselves or with a group of people? We're currently in talks now with a couple of our stallion people on putting together partnerships for those mares to keep the better bred mares in Pennsylvania and increasing the foal crop. So thank you for your time today. If you have any questions. Okay.
Thank you both very much. Appreciate it. Okay, that brings us up to quite a few administrative actions this month. Let's start with the fiscal year 23-24 budget submission. As Tom discussed it earlier, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the state fiscal year 23-24 budget request, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on then for the minor line item modification to the current fiscal year budget. Again, as discussed by Tom earlier, is there a motion to approve making those changes to have Penn purchase a few things rather than the commission doing it?
So moved.
Commissioner Ellis, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Reddy, questions or discussion on this one? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, that brings us up to the motion to approve a resolution to HISA asking for a statutory exemption for the use of Lasix in covered horse races other than for 2-year-old covered horses and stakes races. Again, Tom discussed this earlier. Is there a motion to approve?
I have a proposed
resolution
that I could read into the record, and then you could vote on it if you don't mind. This is in the matter of furosemide exemption from HISA, docket number 2022-76. And now this 27th day of September 2022, it is hereby resolved that pursuant to section 3055F of the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act of 2020 and HISA's proposed anti-doping and medication control program, the commission is authorizing its staff to formally seek an exemption from the statutory prohibition against the use of furosemide, Lasix, in thoroughbred horse racing in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. To that end, if the exemption is approved by HISA, furosemide may be used on all thoroughbred horses during the exemption period. An exemption is not being sought for the use of Lasix in 2-year-old thoroughbred horses or thoroughbred stake races. This request is consistent with the Commission's administrative policy SHRC 2021-1, prohibiting the use of Lasix in 2-year-old horses, thoroughbred horses, and in thoroughbred stakes races issued on April 1st, 2021. The exemption sought is for a period of 3 years from the proposed effective date of the anti-doping and medication control program. That could be issued as a motion.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Ellis, is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Reddy. Any questions, discussion?
A question, and you probably clarified this before. This is all stake races, not just graded stake races. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Brian, this HISA regulation for the LASIX is scheduled to go January 1st. So what basically happens is this commission, if they vote yes on this, the staff will send a letter to HISA, hopefully that they'll approve it. So when you come to January 1st, it's basically the same as you've got right now.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Madam
Any-
Chair, I intend to abstain from this vote.
Okay, and one abstention. Any other abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Commissioner DeBunda. That brings us up to the simulcast calendars.
Okay, Madam Chair, a motion to approve the simulcast calendars for October 2022 for the harness tracks, Harris, Philadelphia, Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs, and the Meadows.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I heard Commissioner Brenizer first for the motion. I'll give Commissioner Rogers the second. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Simulcast calendars for the thoroughbred tracks.
Yeah. Motion, Madam Chair, for simulcast calendars for the thoroughbred tracks for October, Parks, Penn National, and Presque Isle Downs.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, please.
Thank you, Commissioner DeBunda. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Next, Madam Chair, a motion to ratify the approval of the request by Harris Philadelphia to change Friday post times to 12:25 on September 9th and October 7th.
Thank you. Is there a motion to ratify?
So
Thank you,
moved.
Commissioner Reddy. And I'll give Commissioner Egloff the second, and thank you for joining us. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes.
The last administrative action is a motion to ratify the approval of Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs request to change post time on October 1st to 3 p.m.
Is there a motion to approve or to ratify? Thank you,
So
Commissioner
moved.
Brenizer. Give Commissioner Egloff the second on that one as well.
Yep.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you all. That takes us up to the adjudication section of the agenda, and I'll turn things over to George Augusto.
Thank you, Chair. George Augusto, Georg, his last name. This matter is before the Pennsylvania State Racing Commission pursuant to an appeal filed by owner trainer Juan C. Vasquez, who appealed the determination after hearing of the Parks Board of Stewards issued on July 7, 2022. Ruling number 22191 PP issued by the stewards suspended the owner license and trainer license of appellant with a suspension to begin on July 18, 2022 and to run for the duration of each license. Appellant's trainer's license expires January 26, 2023, and his owner's license expires January 26, 2025. The steward's ruling provides that Shining Colors, the horse in question, was suffering from a severe chronic condition and should never have shipped to Parks on January 6, 2022. The horse had to be euthanized shortly thereafter on January 9, 2022. The stewards also determined that appellant was grossly negligent, cruel, and abusive, and had his conduct violated several sections of the rules and regulations of racing, specifically 185.2, 185.7B, 303.15.5, and 401.62. In accordance with its regulations, on August 30th, 2022, an administrative hearing was conducted en banc by this full commission and its duly appointed hearing officer. After the filing of notes of testimony, the parties submitted their respective post-hearing briefs, closing arguments on or about September 13th, 2022. The matter is now ripe for adjudication. The following is a proposed order for approval by this commission. In the matter of Juan C. Vasquez, appealing of ruling number 22191 PP, and now this 27th day of September 2022, upon consideration of the testimony and exhibits of record, including the briefs of the parties, it is hereby ordered that ruling number 22191 PP, issued by the Board of Stewards at Parks on July 7th, 2022, is hereby affirmed. That'd be a motion.
So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Any questions, further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions on this one?
Madam Chair, I was interested in this because the occurrence occurred at Parks, but I did not involve myself in the deliberations, and I hereby abstain from the vote on the decision.
Thank you. And my understanding is Commissioner Jones also has.
That is correct, Madam Chair. During the hearing, Commissioner Jones did not participate at all in this matter, so he abstained.
Okay. In the determination of the chair, the ayes have it. Motion passes.
Thank you.
That takes us to the industry reports section. Tony, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Before we get to the industry reports, Tom has a couple things he needs to address. Tom?
Thank you, Tony. One item is HISA. Okay. Just this commission at this meeting is not prepared to review or go through anything. Be advised that come January 1st, HISA will be responsible for the racetrack safety program, the anti-doping and medication, and the out-of-competition testing for the thoroughbred industry. Be advised that October 1st, HISA is supposed to release their assessment on the cost for the calendar year 2023. In addition to that, staff, Tony, myself, the two bureau directors plus council has met with HISA. It's suffice to say more meetings are required. There isn't a whole lot to report at this time. Suffice to say there are many questions and many answers to come. At the appropriate time, this commission will it'll be on the agenda, it'll be for discussion. There are a lot of matters for this commission to consider, and at this time it's not ripe. Second issue is out-of-competition testing. Since the last meeting, the commission has conducted 40 out-of-competition tests, 11 at PID Presque Isle, 29 at Parks. Those 29 were in the graded stake races from the PA Derby Day Saturday. Just an FYI, between the two bureaus, between the standardbred and the thoroughbred, 818 samples have been collected for out-of-competition testing. The hotline. The hotline was started March 1st. Year to date, there were 77 calls. There are 72 closed. 5 are continuing open and under investigation. Since the last commission meeting, in that 77, we received 9 contacts or calls. All have been unfounded, closed. That is the hotline. The last issue I want to just touch on real briefly is enforcement. This commission, whether it's thoroughbred or standardbred, when major days occur at the racetracks, our staff formulates a plan and our people move from track to track to that location, i.e. this case it was Parks and the PA Derby. Unfortunately, the staff is not large enough to do what we have to do by itself. So we work with the horsemen, with the track to bring in people from out of state. They're investigators that work at other tracks. That happened this weekend. They conducted some gate searches and some barn searches. Normally, I don't go into a whole lot of detail on this matter, but there was an article in one of the magazines, sort of one of the reports, the Pollock report, that outlined what happened. So 138 vehicles were searched at the stable gate. One trainer was in possession of 10 loaded needles and syringes. That's been sent to the lab for analysis. One jockey was in possession of 2 electronic devices. One jockey was in possession of a small amount of marijuana, which was tested. One owner was in possession of a firearm and marijuana. 4 barns were searched, which resulted in one trainer was in the possession of 2 loaded needles and syringes. One trainer was in possession of 5 expired medications. The 3 of these matters were sent to the stewards. They were summarily suspended in conjunction with our regulations. There will be a hearing held probably next week on the merits of the case. In consideration of due process in certain chain of custody, in giving proper due to the process, I'm not going to get in and mention who and so on. That can come after the steward's hearing. But the team, the Pennsylvania staff, in conjunction with some support from the office of, or the organization of racing investigators, worked in unison under the direction of the commission at Parks, and this is what was determined. That's it, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Before I get to the industry reports, I'll just give a brief update on the fair season, which came to a conclusion today. Unfortunately, the last 2 days of racing were rained out at Meadville. It's the only 2 days of the season that were rained out. So we had a pretty successful year as far as that goes. We had no real issues. We paid out in purses $2,173,000 this year, which is about $100,000 more than last year. There were 21 fairs in total compared to last year's 20. And the number of 2-year-olds that raced this year was 1,172, which is almost 200 more than the previous year, which is an encouraging sign for the breeding side of it. And the 3-year-olds were slightly higher this year by about 40. Just a couple people I just want to thank who worked tirelessly through the summer to pull these fairs off. One is our own Ryan Keel, who is basically the administrator for the Sire Stakes and the fairs. He constantly sends out emails to people to keep them informed about what's going on, point standings. He updates point standings on a daily basis. And he goes above and beyond to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, when it's going on, and how it's going on. So, and he will work to get the fairs reimbursed for their operating expenses and marketing expenses. He has sent out the emails for that. There's been so far only 4 fairs that have turned in their invoices for it, but usually we get them in October is when we get the majority of them. And Mike Courant from the PHHA, who conducted all the draws for all 21 fairs, even on his days off, he came in to do the draws. And again, he has been a big help in making sure that the fair program was a success, along with Lisa Dunn, the president of the Fair Association. I'd also like to thank her for her hard work. Again, it's the fairs are a little tough to cover because they're spread out so much, and our staff gets stretched really thin. But a lot of people sacrificed on the staff this year to cover fairs that they normally wouldn't cover, and to do double duty. And I don't want to go through all their names because there's too many, but I just appreciate all the staff who stepped up and did all the extra work and the long days to get through the fairs. So with that being said.
One other thing that we neglected to mention, the commission is attempting to come into the 22nd, 23rd, whatever century it is. One of the issues that happened yesterday, the young lady up at the lectern is Nicole McCrone. She is the director of licensing. We've heard from the horsemen over a period of time that, you know, it's not convenient to pay for your license. It's not convenient to pay for your fines. And through her arduous journey and hard work, we will send out a notice from now on. We will take credit cards. We will, and Sam, you can do the dance for us, but long time coming, but it's through this young lady's hard work that it's been done. So we'll be able to take license fees, fines, and so on through a credit card.
Okay, so we'll go to the industry reports. I just asked that everybody please state your name and spell it for the benefit of the court stenographers, especially those of you who are on teams. Let's start off with Scott Lisha at the Meadows. Scott?
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, members of the commission. My name is Scott Lisha. That's L-I-S as in Sam, H-I-A, Director of Racing at the Meadows. September, we just came off of a week, our traditional kind of fall week down. We did some work on the racetrack, did some refurbishing and a little bit of work in the stable area. So we are back racing today, 4 days a week, a Tuesday through Friday schedule. We're finishing up our Keystone Classic races this week. So coming back with some good racing throughout the remainder of September. Into October, I don't mean to contradict Mr. Salerno, but we do have fair finals coming up. We will be having that next weekend. So we're very excited about having the fair finals here coming into early October. In conjunction, and I'm not sure if Kim Hankins is on the phone call or not, but Monday there was a press release. I'm sorry. But yes, Monday there was a press. You are there, Kim?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then I'll let you handle the press release. Just one other item. This past week, as probably anyone with harness racing interest knows, and probably other people as well, the Little Brown Jug was run out in Delaware. And just want to point out, for Pennsylvania reference, and especially for the Meadows, the second place finisher, Forever Boy, trained by Tim Twaddle. Tim's done an excellent job with this horse over the summer. He's butted heads with some of the best horses in the country and raced extremely well Little Brown Jug Day. And if not for the efforts of Ron Burke and his horse By the Missile, Tim would have been a winner. So congratulations to him. And then also, without saying, Mr. Burke runs an incredible operation stable, and he had a phenomenal week, a phenomenal day. His horse SIP set a world record on a half-mile track, trotting Jug Day. I think he won, don't quote me on this, 6 or 7 races on the card that day alone. And he did win the Little Brown Jug. And By the Missile also ran the Adios. So I think for Pennsylvania horses and for Meadows horses and trainers, it's a pretty incredible showing. And I just wanted to commend both of them. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, Scott, thanks. And thank you for reminding me about the fair finals. I think I was so relieved to get through the 21 fairs without an incident that I forgot the finals are coming up. So.
No problem.
Okay. All right, let's go to Mike Sullinger from Pocono. Mike.
Hello, Mike. Hey, Tony. How are you doing? It's Mike, good. M-I-K-E-Z-U-L-L-I-N-G-E-R. First of all, I'd like to thank Tony and the commissioners for the approval of our post-time change on Saturday. This is mainly due to our final concert series of the year, where we're having Brett Michaels here Friday night. So that stage and everything will be set on the track. So we just wanted to give our track crew enough time and make sure that surface was ready for racing on Saturday. Other than that, we have about 22 live race days left in our season. So we're just moving along and start to prepare for next year. And that's all for this month, Tony.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Barry Brown from Harris. Barry?
Thanks, Tony. Barry Brown, BARRYBROWN, Director of Racing. For the month of September, we had a really strong Sire Stake final day back on Labor Day Sunday. It was one of our best days of our season. Following Labor Day, moved into our 3-day-a-week schedule. Will remain for the balance of 2022. And as Mike alluded to, we also only have now 37 days left in our 2022 season. And again, that'll be run over the course of 3-day weeks between now and the end of December when we wrap up. So that is all for this month at Harrah's Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you, Barry. Let's go to Parks. Do we have Joe or Dave on?
Thanks, Tony. Hi, it's Joe Wilson, JOEWILSON. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners. First off, Brian and Stu, I thought that video you guys did was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This past Saturday was PA Derby Cotillion Day. We set a new record. All sources handle on the card was 18.8 million, which was 36% higher than last year's of 13.8 million, which was the current record. First and foremost, shout out to Dave Osadniak and his team in the racing office for putting together probably the best card in this track's history. Full fields, 13 races, 10 of them stakes races. Also, Jeff Matty and his team at the PTHA, Ashley Eisenbell, her team with the PHRA, and Brian Sanfratello at the PHBA, and the commission office and staff. It was a collaborative effort. Everybody worked very well together. There were lots of promotions. Everybody was upbeat. Obviously, we had perfect weather. That helped as well. We once again partnered with the PTHA to do a 2-hour show on PHL 17 that ran from 4:30 to 6:30. We also had FanDuel TV. Rich Perloff was here with a cameraman, and Fox Sports 2 was here with a camera as well. As for the parks-based horsemen, they won 8 of the 13 races, and they also won 6 of the 10 stakes races that we ran, including a Grade 2, 2 Grade 3s, and also a second place finish in the Grade 1. So just thankful to everyone, and it was a great day.
Okay, Joe, congratulations on a great weekend. Penn National. Chris, did you want to speak? You want Eric? Eric's on. Eric Johnson? Eric? Eric, are you with us?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself.
Again.
Eric Johnston, ERICJOHNSTON. Not much to report from Penn National this week. We're shut down for scheduled maintenance on the racing surface. That work will continue through Thursday and possibly into Friday, but we're hoping to get it back ready for the horsemen to start training again, at least by Saturday at the very latest. Other than that, we just changed our schedule up. As when we come back, we'll go back to our winter schedule of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So dropping the Thursdays and moving those dates over to Tuesday. And just looking for a great fall. And congratulations to Parks and all the connections down there. That's a huge day and certainly one that would make anybody envious.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Presque Isle, Matt Ennis. Matt?
Yes, hi. This is Scott Stoller from Presque Isle. Matt Ennis was not available for the meeting, so let me spell my last name. It's Stoller. And here's the update that Matt gave me to follow up on with you for the month. So our big event was on September 19th, our biggest day of racing. We had 4 stakes races, including the Masters and the Presque Isle Mile. And we generated for all sources, 1.8 million in handle, by far our best day of the year. We gave away in purses $830,000, which was an all-time high for us. We had TVG on site, and we were also lucky to have TVG and Larry Colmus, as you know, the Kentucky Derby announcer, was able to join the TVG team for the day, and that was courtesy of our parent, Churchill Downs. We had 2 food trucks that day. We also had Stu Kirschenbaum, as you know, from Keystone Films, who was on site capturing footage of the day with both regular video and also some drone footage. So hopefully we'll get a chance to use some of that going forward. And also want to thank Ashley Eisenbell from the PA Horse Racing Association, who brought a beer trailer for our use, and also had a jockey virtual reality presentation that was available for the general public to use. So it was just a great day of racing. We also had great weather for it, and that's all from Presque Isle Downs.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Mr. Beagle, have anything you want to say? Nothing? Okay. Kim, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, just a couple small points. First off, we're going to be having the Pink Out, which is a salute or a fundraiser and a recognition of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month on the 14th. And of course, I think the fair finals were mentioned earlier. We look forward to bringing in the fair people here and trying to recognize their accomplishments and have them compete. Also, one of our, it gives us great pleasure to announce due the diligence of Meadows Management and the MSOA board that as of October 1st, the first racing day in October, we will be implementing another 10% purse increase. That makes us 2 in the last several months and gets us to the same approximate purse levels that we had pre-COVID. So we're very happy to bring that out to our horsemen, and also hopefully entice other trainers and drivers and horses to come to the meadows so that we can try to get some fuller fields. And that is my report.
Okay, Kim, thank you. That's Hankins, Hankins, MSOA. Okay. Todd Mosteller from the HBPA. Todd, are you on? We'll skip over Todd. Jeff Matty. Jeff, are you on?
Thank you, Tony. This is Jeff. Last name is Matty, M-A-T-T-Y. Madam Chair and Commissioners, I don't want to repeat everything that Joe said, but there needs to be a lot of congratulations passed out because we had one heck of a Pennsylvania Derby day. I'd like to personally thank Joe Wilson, Dave Osagenik, and their whole staff front side. We've had a good working relationship since I took over here in January. Sal DeBunda and myself are very pleased with that relationship. And obviously it shows that collaboration goes a heck of a long way. So we're very excited about that. I'd like to thank Jason Klauser and his team, the investigators that came out. Originally some of that stuff that broke in the news, it's a negative mark for us, but I think now more than ever, racing needs to know that we're going in the right direction. So if some bad PR comes out at first, in the long run, a lot of my horsemen are very receptive to those messages that are being sent that, if we want to continue to go forward, we're only going to represent horsemen here that do it the right way. So while it may be a moment of negative PR in the long run, tomorrow, the next week, the next month, we're trying to make this place a better place for all to race and form their businesses here. I'd like to thank Ashley Eisenbale and Donnell Mock. They were here for a few days. They interviewed all of our horsemen. The interviews, went over great. Our horsemen were very receptive to them. They treated this as just like any other professional sport. So I know our horsemen are eager for them to come back, and they did a second to none job in telling the stories of our horsemen on this backside. One of the features was the Hispanic month, And again, I'd like to thank Ashley for that. She did a phenomenal job, her and her team. I'd like to thank Baldini Communications and Bruce Casella, our partnership with PHL 17. We were able to get Brian Dawkins, Eagles Hall of Famer, out, and Junior Nelson, NBA great. So again, it was just a culmination of a great collaborative effort that led to our biggest handle day. And as Joe said, eight of the races won were by our horsemen. And then Todd's guys, Bernie Houghton won a stake, and Brandon Culp ran second in a graded race for the first time in his career. So I think the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania can be very proud that on our biggest day, our horsemen shine bright, not only Parks horsemen, but Penn National as well. So we can hang with the best of them. So with that, that's all I have. And again, I'd just like to thank everyone involved, and we'll march forward to Derby Day of 23. Thanks, Tony.
Madam Chair, if I may make a comment. This is Jeff's first year as executive director, and his enthusiasm and working with the other participants spread through the entire staff. So he and the staff, along with the racing office and the promotion people and Joe Wilson, did an excellent job. Also want to congratulate Jeff. He mentioned that grade 3 stake, won by Mr. Culp. But that was Jeff's first ever graded win. So congratulations to you, Jeff, for your graded win. But
it was second.
I'm sorry.
But
yeah,
I don't want to ruin a good story, though. You can say it was a win.
No, second. I meant to say second. But, like getting a hole in one, by the time you buy drinks for everybody in the clubhouse, I think Jeff just about broke even at the end of that. I think almost all of the purse is gone already. So, but congratulations to you, Jeff, and thank you for your help and enthusiasm.
Okay.
Thank you, Sal.
Let's go to Jim or Mike Simpson. Are you guys on?
This is Mike Simpson, Simpson. No report today.
Okay, Mike. And Brian, you're up.
I'd like to congratulate Joe Wilson, David Osajanek, and his team, the horsemen at Parks, Jeff Matty, who still owes me a drink because I did not receive one after the race. The slot revenue transfers are in the packet. We are right now through the end of August, up almost $500,000, $496 and change. Also in your packet is the Thoroughbred October newsletter, the Mid-Atlantic Thoroughbred newsletter. You'll see also in there our 2023 PA Sired, PA Bred Stallion Series. We did have 4 races, 2 on PA Derby Day. 2 were the final races in the PA Sired, PA Bred Stallion Series, and 2 of our regular stakes races. So again, it was a fantastic day. The owners and the trainers, after talking to a lot of them, they are actively looking for PA sired horses for the series, which we're going to expand next year to 6 stakes races from 4. So that's a good sign. It's been a long haul on that, getting that series up and running, but again, it seemed to be worth it. And I think you'll see better results in the PA sired area next year. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Mike, I don't believe there's any public comment, right? Okay. I think George has one other thing before we adjourn, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, this is just for notification. There's no commission action necessary. Pursuant to Section 179.17D of its regulations, the State Racing Commission hereby provides notice that it has received the following timely, substantially complete, and properly filed applications seeking authorization, permission, and/or licensure renewal to engage in certain licensed racing activities within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Naira Bets LLC, Access Information Network, Inc. In accordance with Section 179.17B and E, any persons interested in intervening in the above matters may file a petition to intervene with the Commission within 30 days of this notice. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That brings us up to our next scheduled meeting, which will be in this room on Tuesday, October 25th at 1 o'clock. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second from Commissioner Ellis and Commissioner Sweeney. Thank you all very much, and everyone said yes.